Let's go now to our guest, Faten Elwan, who joins us live from Marseille in France. She's a Palestinian affairs analyst. Faten, welcome. I mean, you will have been watching closely developments this morning, I'm sure. We're seeing live pictures as this exchange continues to unfold. We know that 7 Israeli hostages have been returned over to the Israeli military, but of course, we're still yet to see the Palestinian prisoners released. I mean, what is your take on how today has developed, and what's your expectation for how it will continue to develop?
It's again the repetition of how it is implemented for the Palestinians. Until now, the demand names of the prisoners being released has not been implemented. There was a big change in names and how long they served in prison. According to the deal, it was clear we're not going to talk about names. We're going to start with who served time in jail the longest, and we go down. So until now, we don't see any of the names of Marwan al-Barghouti, Ahmed Saadat, and others. We don't see the name of Dr. Ahmed Abu Safiya until now, which was one of the demand. Until this moment, with the name of list of prisoners, Palestinian prisoners who are going to be released, he's not on the list. And he's on the backup list if the number of prisoners being released managed to get to 195 prisoners. So he's on a backup list until now. Around Ofar, in which the area that we witnessed and covered for too long, families are still gathering over there, but we know that the release won't happen until before midnight. And this is a system that the Israeli government is issuing, it's the system that the Israeli government is depending on, that no joy for the Palestinians, no any victory sign on the ground. And definitely they went and they moved around the family of those prisoners, asking them not to celebrate or welcome people to celebrate with them for welcoming a son that was not only in jail for 2 years, or as the Israeli captive were held, and all the joy and the welcoming and the gift and the letter that Netanyahu prepared for them. No, they don't know the names. They don't know when they will be released, and they're not allowed even to be welcomed from their own people and beloved one.
Faten, if you're with me there, I'd like to touch back on what we were discussing previously, which is you were talking about the Palestinian prisoners and how we've seen changes in the names of prisoners who are going to be released, so much uncertainty and fluidity there, whereas on the other hand, it's been quite clear this morning the names of the Israeli hostages, when they will be released, whereas so much uncertainty on the Palestinian prisoners' side. Can you talk us through what that inequity right from the outset of the ceasefire deal means? How does it bode for the success, the durability of potential peace?
There is a lot of black holes in that deal, and those black holes always for a Palestinian, and the Palestinians' feeling is a hole that is putting a big question mark. What will happen after the release of those hostages? We know that Netanyahu didn't answer the question, is the war over? And we know that Trump answered it, that it's over and over and over, as if he's the decision maker on the ground. But the black holes in this agreement always refer to who's going to be released, what's the name, will they be arrested? A bunch of those prisoners who are going to be released during this first stage of this agreement were released in the previous agreement of prisoner exchange. So will they re-arrest them again or not? Are they released just to gain the Israeli hostages or not? Are they going to be really released to start with, like Hussam Abu Safiya, the doctor that was one of the conflicts names on this list, Marwan al-Barghouti, Ahmed Saadat? Those are big leaders that the Palestinians were waiting for their names to be on the list. Listen, for so many families that never dreamt of seeing their kids out of jail, especially like Bassem Khandaqji. I spoke to his sister, and she was flying over the moon, thanking the resistance in Gaza for finally giving her the chance of this possible joy of re-meeting her brother that spent more than 20 years inside of jail. Will she see him? We don't know. That's the big questions always. And this is why I keep saying that this agreement ended the big war. But within the soul of this agreement, there is another war started on the ground. And I will not call it, and I refuse to call it a civil war, because this is what Israel is looking for inside of Gaza. It's what I'm going to call the soft war on the ground, in which you will not see F-16 bombing the place, but we will see unknown troops on the ground. We don't know how many Israelis undercover are still inside of Gaza, especially that yesterday, the beginning of the soft war started on the ground by assassinating my friend and the journalist Saleh Jafarawi after being kidnapped, having 7 bullets in his body. And this is the beginning. So yes, the war is over in the big meaning of it. Is it until the hostages are being released? We don't know. Is it the soft war that's going to start after? We don't know. There is a lot of uncertainty inside of this plan, and inequality in dealing between how those hostages are being treated with gifts. Netanyahu, Trump personally coming to celebrate them, phone calls, video calls that they called their family and assured them they're going to meet them in a bit. You know, just hang in there. We're going to be so softness when it comes to the Israeli side, zero emotions and certainty when it comes to the Palestinian side.
How do you think Trump's arrival, Faten, will influence things going on the ground in terms of the Israeli feeling towards their government, towards the war? I mean, there's been so much frustration and anger among the Israeli public, many of the Israeli public, that the war has continued. Do you think Donald Trump's arrival, we've just in the last few minutes seen him head towards the Knesset with Prime Minister Netanyahu, do you think that arrival of Donald Trump, how do you think it'll be received by the Israeli public?
We have those, what we call the extreme right-wing supporters, who put the flags all over occupied Palestine in 48, as Raoul said. We have the beautiful celebration, thank you, Trump, and all this. But we also have those that sees that even with this agreement, the core of the problem is still there. Netanyahu and right extreme government that just want to keep the place on conflict as long as Netanyahu needs to stay in this government was not solved. So those who think, those who are on the left side of the story against the right extreme government, those who believe that Netanyahu ruined the position of Israel and their image in front of the whole world with this war on Gaza, they still want him out of the government. So Trump can celebrate this day, but it cannot solve all the problem on the ground, especially when we're talking about annexation of the West Bank, an unclear withdrawal from Gaza, a Riviera that Trump coming to Israel to celebrate. And let's not skip that, especially with the speech that he gave. Well, the Riviera started. We're going to put it on a hold for a while, but it's not going to be canceled, the idea. So how this would be translated on the ground, a big celebration for Trump. He's feeling his egoistic need to show as a peacemaker, but on the ground, we don't see any of this. The only break that was happening there, that the ugly big war, the bombs, and the Gazan people had a break to breathe. For how long? We don't know.
Faten, there's been suggestion that Benjamin Netanyahu currently is simply manoeuvring and he could restart aggression, his assault on Gaza at any time. I mean, how concerned are you about, beyond this morning's exchange, once those Israeli captives are back in Israel, how concerned are you that things could just restart and the horrors that Palestinians have been experiencing for the last 2 years and obviously before that, but the war that they've experienced for the last 2 years could simply continue?
Very concerned. Like everyone was celebrating, and I don't blame people in Gaza, they need a break. We're celebrating this declaration of a ceasefire, but we did of ending the war, in which Netanyahu didn't say it until now. Trump can say whatever he wants, but on the ground, the one responsible of giving the order to pull the trigger to put the aircraft and the fighters in the sky, he didn't say it yet. He didn't declare an end of a war. We are in the first stage of an unclear stages coming later. And if you go and read this agreement, we have this line that keeps repeating. Things might change according to what happened on the ground. It's applied to changes with time and changes on the ground. In between every paragraph, you will read the sentence all over again. Even the timing of the release, even the timing of the withdrawal from the yellow line to the blue line to the red line. We don't have a time frame. This is why some people are calling it Oslo 2.0, because we did have this agreement before in which Palestinians don't have a control over their borders. They don't have a decision on who's the leader that is going to lead the things on the ground. Hamas asked for a technocrat government. Trump wants a peace coalition with the devil of all the wars, Tony Blair leading it. So there's a lot of concern because we cannot. I did not celebrate. I cannot celebrate the end of this war. I cannot even stay still. Like everyone was saying, like it's time for us to grieve and cry. But until now, no one can put their guards down thinking that this war is really over because there is no clarity on the ground. What will happen once the last Israeli prisoners or hostages is out of jail? For me, the dark vision in my eyes that keep repeating on loop, that hell is going to break down on Gaza once the last Israeli dead alive hostage will be released.
Okay, Faten Elwan, thank you so much for your time with us.